Joao Felix to Manchester United has entered the decisive phase, and obviously, maybe this week that we've entered might be a decision to be made whether he's going to Manchester United or Arsenal. That has been reported by Marca coming in from Madrid, and you know how close those are at the Madrid teams, that is Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid. Secondly, Dubravka has been recalled by Newcastle. There are allegations that he's the one who really said, I want to get back to Newcastle, but you're going to let you know what is the plan of Manchester United. And lastly, Ten Hag has officially taken over the under-23 of United. It was part of the deal that it was part of the clauses he included into his deal when he's coming to Manchester United, that when I feel that the big team is really in my hands and we can now peruse through, then I'll take over the under-23s to set it that I pave a way for them to pave into the starting or the first 11 of Manchester United. Welcome to United Matters channel. How are you guys? And where are you watching us from? Happy New Year, guys. Depending on where you're watching in from, smash the like button, guys. Let's hit the black button that has what the subscribe and hit the notification bell. That is going to help us hit 10,000 subscribers. I thought that we would enter 2023 when we've hit that mark, but obviously we are left with 500, just 500 subscribers, and I think in this month we should hit 10,000 subscribers. Let's celebrate 2023 in style by really hitting that mark. All right, let's get into this story. And by the way, should I bring this or I bring it at the end? But I think it's immediate. Today, Spurs has been beaten by 2-0. Aston Villa has beaten them at their stadium in London. What does that mean? United are comfortably sat into the 4th place with 2 points ahead of Tottenham Hotspur, and Tottenham have played one more game than United. What does that mean? It means Spurs are going to be 5 points behind Manchester United in the 4th spot if at all you win a game in hand. And secondly, even Newcastle drew yesterday by 1-1, meaning that they're now at 30. Let me check here. I want to be exact. Newcastle is having 34 points and United is having 32. If United goes ahead to win their game in hand, they're going to be in the 3rd position at 35 points, meaning that we are starting to take shape, and this is where we need the backing of the owners of the club of United. And this is where we get into this story of Joao Felix coming in from Marca, because Erik ten Hag has sounded it out that when Ronaldo departed, we needed to replace him and a striker was needed. Now, Marca has told us that the departure of Joao Felix from Atletico Madrid has entered the decisive phase. Final moments are expected from Arsenal and United, who are the two most interested teams to take the player. So when you hear that the departure of Joao Felix from Atletico Madrid has entered the decisive phase, obviously it's a message that negotiations are really intense, and these teams really want to see themselves get this player. Even Joao Felix wants to move out of Atletico Madrid, but at the United level, they've come out and indicated that it's really going to be a hefty duty for them to pay £250,000 a week. That is his weekly salary for the next 6 months, plus paying a loan fee of £80 million. The deal amounts up to £16 million. That's what United needs to go on and pay, and they are saying they don't have the money. This is where you go in and ask, what does this club want? They've done this very many times, and we've missed out on top 4. When they brought Bruno in 2020, we finished into the 4th place. I think we finished in the 3rd place. Even the next season, we completed the Champions League. And when they didn't do it in the January of 2022, we didn't qualify for the Champions League. And Ralf Rangnick was calling for signings. Konrad Laimer, Ol Zakaria, Enzo Fernandez and Julian Alves. Those were the players that was calling for. And look at now their prices. They're playing very well and they're really doing good. So he had scouted very good players for United, but United couldn't go ahead and really get 50 million euros and land close to 3 signings of the players that everyone is admiring right now, whose prices have ridiculously heightened. Enzo Fernandez, who was at 25 million euros, he's now at 130. Julian Alves at Man City, talk about him after scoring 4 goals at the World Cup. They'll tell you close to 100 million euros what they're supposed to pay for this guy's signature. Look at Konrad Laimer, he's going out on a free. The like of a Kanji are playing very well. So it shows you how bad the Glazers run this club. And if at all you're not backed, we are going to reduce our chances of not going into the into the top four. But I can't rule out totally that we cannot qualify into the fourth spot, because you never know what's going to happen when you're playing Barcelona in the playoff in February. If Barcelona knocks us out, that means we will be left to be playing just one game per week. That calls for us to be having a very good squad to go on and really do these games and really fight for the Champions League, because we'll be left with the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, of which the intervals in which they are played are really so much wide. The bridge is really so much, you get? But if I told you there is Europe, that means we're going to be playing 2 games per week. That's it. But I believe Joao Felix would have been the perfect signing for United after missing out on Cody Gakpo, but I don't know what's running the heads of the Glazers and what their plan is for the club. Now, as Ten Hag is still waiting to see whether United is going in for Joao Felix or Memphis Depay or Morata, another story has really been thrown to us today about the goalkeeper we signed, known as Dubravka from Newcastle. Now, the story has been reported by Chris Wilder. You know, he works for the Mirror and he has been a close associate. Chris Wilder works with Daily Mail, has told us that Newcastle recall Martin Dubravka from Manchester United loan. That's what he told us at first. And we went ahead to hear the following from Chris Wilder: that decision to recall Dubravka understood to be Newcastle's. United still have Tom Heaton and Nathan Bishop and have not decided whether to sign another keeper yet. Then we got a story coming in from Luke Edwards of The Telegraph, confirming to us that Martin Dubravka asked to go back to Newcastle from Manchester United. So whatever it is, I believe, according to what Dubravka exposed on the field of play, Tom Heaton is better than him. Tom Heaton is a better goalkeeper than him. Even in ball distribution, he looked terrible in the game of Burnley. Even in the game of Aston Villa, he looked really terrible in certain aspects. Even in Spain, in those 2 games that we played, the 2 games we played against Real Betis and Cadiz, preparing for the return of the Premier League, he looked horrible. He would have costed us 2 goals when we were playing Burnley, and I believe he has made the right decision. The pressure at United is too huge to an extent that you cannot really handle it. And whether he has begged to go back to Newcastle, or it's Newcastle that has really called him back, I believe it's not something that's going to make a lot of news. And with the problems having at Manchester United, I believe that piles more to Erik ten Hag to go in and look in for another goalkeeper. But is he going to go all out and look for another goalkeeper? I doubt, because if a right back and a striker has not been gotten at United yet, they are priorities for him, then he's not going to look around for a goalkeeper, because bringing in another goalkeeper calls in for an expense that United might not be willing to pay, because they couldn't pay for Cody Gakpo. They're not willing to pay the salary of Joao Felix. So we are into a very difficult situation right now. But the only option that could let United bring in a new goalkeeper is if at all Ten Hag has decided that Aaron Wan-Bissaka is going nowhere after playing 3 games of United, 1 against Burnley. He had an assist in that game. He played against Nottingham, and yesterday played against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Would have bagged himself an assist if at all that goal of Marcus Rashford really went to the back of the net and it was not really ruled out by VAR after striking his arm. So that might really provide a loophole for Ten Hag to go in and bring in another goalkeeper. But to me, I believe Tom Heaton can do the job. He can do the job, because that's what he's going to do, because we are going to be playing in the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, and UEFA Europa League and the Premier League. For the Premier League and UEFA Europa League, Ten Hag has shown that it has been David De Gea, not even Dubravka. And Dubravka came in to play games in the Carabao Cup only. So, meaning that after us playing Bournemouth, as we take on, is it Everton in the FA Cup, it might be Tom Heaton coming in through for United, because it would have been Dubravka, but he has left, and maybe it's time for Tom Heaton to come in and really get a chance to get into a competitive game for United for the very first time ever since he was at Manchester United very many years back. He was here, but he has not gotten a chance. But Dubravka leaving, I was not satisfied with how he really did his job at United in those 2 games. So whether he has been invited by Newcastle back, or a team called All Dubravka really said, I want to leave. That's none of my business. If he leaves, let him leave. Then we've been told by Samuel Lucas that United are yet to decide on whether to recruit a replacement. Hit on 36, Nathan Bishop will provide backup for first choice goalkeeper of United, that is David De Gea. Obviously, I believe no reason to go in for another goalkeeper. Let's first get in this. I think even if David De Gea gets injured, Tom Heaton can get the job done. We've seen him do it in the preseason against Liverpool. He pulled out some good saves. So I believe it's time we concentrated on matters that really matter a lot, because David De Gea, however much injuries are unpredictable, I don't see him really getting injured, because he rarely gets injured and goalkeepers rarely get injured. But even if he gets injured, you wouldn't have trusted Dubravka in the goal of United in the Premier League games we've been playing. He would have costed us a lot. So let's wait and see what's going to happen until that man called Dubravka and the decision Ten Hag is really going to go ahead and really take. Now, again, Moloch. This is Simon Moloch. He writes for the Mirror. Very, very, very credible ever since Ten Hag came in at Manchester United. It looks like he has a direct call line to Eric Ten Hag and his manager, because he lays out stories concerning Ten Hag faster than any other source. He's telling us that Eric Ten Hag has taken charge of Manchester United's reserve team in a bid to open up a better pathway into his senior side. That is a very big positive, because this is where a team called Ajax got the likes of De Jong, Matthias De Ligt, Donny van de Beek, and very many others. Even the Julian Timbers of this world, they came from the academy. The Gravenberches came from the academy. That's how he really came in to go on and do that. So if Roy takes on the academy of Manchester United, it's really good for him. And why is he doing this? Because he believes he has at least put United in the structure where he wants to be, and the players can now really do exactly what he wants, and now he can spare some time to go on and really look through the underprint. That's why you see the minors, the Igbos, the Savages train with the big team. Now Simon Moloch told us that the Dutch has revealed how he told Old Trafford bosses during negotiations last spring that he would only agree to become their new boss if he was also given full control of the club's under 23. And it shows you how elite this manager is and how he knows the next big thing for the club and what the club should do, not to really throw down the guard. So he is going to take over it, and that's why they are training with the huge team. Now, he went ahead to tell us that the United manager undertook a similar role at Ajax because he believes it is the best way to get an accurate overview of the talent coming through the system. And I believe he's really going to enjoy the job at Manchester United as far as managing the under 23s are concerned, because we are having very good talented boys, and all along we've been losing out on talent like this because there has lacked a connection between the first team coach and the coach who really manages this. Because if you want to get players to get into your first team that are coming from the academy, you need to go out and take over the under 23s and really lay out a training system that helps you get these players fit into your structure, such that when they get into your team, they are not going to be like novices. That's why the likes of Danny Igbos, the Savages, are finding it hard to get to the team of Eric Ten Hag. Do you know why? Because they never went through his system, and at that age he believes they're supposed to be learning more. Now, the likes of Kobe Minos are really having a chance that they are training with Ten Hag, and he's really loving them, and they're getting the best they're supposed to get from one of the best managers in the world. Ten Hag says first team training drills is run by a competent Michel van der Gaar, so that he can have an overview and see a lot more than if he has running exercises. So Van der Gaar takes over those running drills. And lastly, they've gone ahead to let us know about Ten Hag and he's taking over the under 23s, that Ten Hag works closely with official reserve boss Mark Dempsey and coach Paul McShane, but takes the ultimate decisions on all team selection matters and even determines players' positions and how many minutes they are going to play on the pitch. So it shows you that he has already taken over and he knows who's going to start and who's not going to start, and he calls for a report of how the game really went in through. And that's why sometimes he really spares some time to go out and watch these players play, because he knows that that's how he's going to see them and whether their improvement is up to those levels of him that he wants. So guys, thank you very much for watching it through. Tell me what you think about Joao Felix to Manchester United decisive phase. That's where we are. Then Dubravka leaving United. Do you think we should go on and bring in another goalkeeper, or we should trust Nathan Bishop and Tom Heaton to really act as David De Gea's backups? And your thoughts on David De Gea, on Ten Hag taking over the first senior team of Manchester United are all welcome in the comment section. I sign out for now. See you later. Happy New Year again. May the Lord bless you abundantly. Bye-bye.